I first started hearing God's call on my life at my youth group in McFarland in Norman, and that really began through service. We took mission trips to Mexico, to Los Angeles and Chicago, a few other places. And through those experiences of serving others, of experiencing Christ through the people we were serving, of meeting people who were really different than me, I began to feel some kind of call and begin considering some kind of church vocation of following, of changing my career path to somehow be in the church, maybe youth ministry, maybe something else. About a year later, I had the opportunity to preach at a youth Sunday service with a couple of other youth, and just about a 5-minute sermon. But through that process, through the preparation, through actually preaching, and then reflecting on it afterward, receiving affirmation from the other members of my church, I really began to feel God calling me into pastoral ministry.
That is my best story of my life. It all began with an intense restlessness, one that came out of the clear blue. I was in the midst of a very rewarding career in higher ed, and all of a sudden I was restless and I couldn't escape it. I went to a spiritual director, and she taught me about the importance of getting quiet, getting still, and listening. And after a few months of doing that, I vividly remember God saying to me, "Kathy, I have things planned for you that you've never imagined." And to be honest, it scared me because I had no idea where that would take me. And the restlessness continued. And then one Sunday, I was in Lubbock, Texas, visiting some friends, and we were at church. And a woman that looked like me stood up during Joys and Concerns and said, "I want to ask for your prayers because I am beginning the candidacy process for ordained ministry." And at that moment, it was my burning bush. It was my neon light. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that's what God was calling me to.
One of the benefits of the residency process has been being put in touch with peers and expanding my network and support group. And through our residency groups, I've met pastors who come from a variety of different backgrounds, some of whom are second career, some of whom came straight out of undergraduate into seminary. And so they have experiences. Some of them are experiencing things that are very similar to what I'm experiencing. Some of them are totally different, but it's an opportunity to learn from what they're going through and then apply it to my own ministry. I've had a great mentor, Phil Fenn, who's been willing to share his stores of experience with me to help me to learn from what he's done and what's worked well and hasn't worked well for him. He's helped me to work through difficult issues that I've faced and also challenged me, forced me to think theologically about the things that we're doing and to reevaluate some of my practices in ministry. So he's been a huge blessing to me as well. And then I've also had the opportunity throughout my Board of Ordained Ministry interviews as I prepared those materials, and I've been forced to evaluate myself, to look at what I'm doing as a pastor, what practices am I engaging in, and are those helpful? And so that's been sometimes a stressful process, but it's also been one that's helped me to take a deep look at the things that I'm doing and reevaluate some of those practices and sometimes make changes because of that.
Two things. One, it gave me a very intentional support system, that getting through the process was so important. Not just our residency groups, but the committees for commissioning and then the committee that I went through for the ordination process. Those became a valuable tool for me. And I think being able to sit in a chair or to stand in a circle and have ordained elders and laity and local pastors pray for my ministry was so powerful that was something that I could draw on continually. And then the other aspect of it that has helped me was the intentional reflection. I thought after seminary I was done writing papers, but the process of going through ordination and looking at my ministry and how being in ministry has affected and impacted my theology. So.
To people who are entering that process, I would say don't do the work of discernment alone. God's given us a great gift in the church, the Holy Spirit working not only in each of us, but through the people around us as well. And so there are vast stores of experience and wisdom and knowledge that you can engage and that will help you to discern that call. So talk to your pastor, talk to a trusted spiritual advisor, someone who can help you see what your gifts are and can help you evaluate where God is calling you and how you can put those to use.
Well, listen, get quiet and listen. That was the hardest part for me. I have a tendency to want to run through things, and I think learning how to do that was the most helpful. The second thing I would say would be to find a support system, seek guidance, talk to other people, and then last, don't even try to imagine what God has planned for you, because God will use you in ministry in ways that you never, ever imagined.